factor in there, right? What did I mention? Not only the sensible recovery, but what else? The latent, the moisture, right? Where's that going to go? It's going to do that. Why? High to low, right? So I've got this warm, moist air, right, coming in, and it's hitting this cold, dry air that's leaving, and that moisture is going to want to do the same thing. It's going to want to go to that cold air, okay? Just like a glass of iced tea, what happens, right? Same thing. Now, that being the case, okay, that picture is showing you a paper core. It's called the Mitsubishi style core, and it's made out of paper. It's got a desk hood on it, and it's got weep holes. It's got holes in it. And that's so that moisture has a path to go, okay? Well, if there's holes in that core, are you going to have leakage between this side and that side? Of course you are, all right? It wasn't the best way to do it. So there's a company that came out. First they came out with the name D-Point, and that was cool, all right? Then they changed their name to Core, which is really hard to talk about because when we talk about this core, right? You know what I mean? It's kind of straight. So this now has gone to a polymer, all right? And this, all of our ERVs now have this core in it, every one, commercial and residential. It's got a polymer, but then it's got an aluminum sandwich in there as well. So that helps with the recovery on the sensible air. And that polymer, what it does, it acts like a little gatekeeper, okay? That moisture builds up in that polymer until it reaches a point where the gatekeeper goes, get out of here, and all that moisture dumps out, and then it closes right back again, all right? And this goes on throughout, okay? So what it does is it prevents that moisture. It's actually, it's called hydroscopic grooving, is what it is. But that's how it works, okay? I try to simplify it so I can understand it, all right? All right, good, excellent on your latent recovery. It's pretty good on sensible too, though, all right? We're seeing 70s in percentages on this, so that's pretty good. Pretty much everything else that you saw on the ERV is going to be the same on the HRV. They're going to be the same. The only real difference is the optional drain, okay? Because an ERV is typically going to be used in places that aren't going to have a lot of defrosting going on, so why have a drain? Can you use that here? Absolutely. Do it all the time. Why do people like it? Because they don't have to run a drain. And if you're doing like high-end condos and you get above 5 stories, guess what? That drain just went from plastic to copper. Now they definitely don't want to run a drain. Okay. So units. All right. We have 3 in the vertical, VER, vertical. All right. 100, 150, 200. We still have several on the side port. Okay, because these were mostly sold in the southwest or southeast. I'm sorry. They still use a lot of side ports there, but they're switching to. Let's see, I should everything there. Oh, one thing, on the polymer core, instead of being lifetime, it is 5 years. Okay. I've never replaced a core, by the way. Most people don't even know it's there. That's why I can never replace it. All right. I wanted to mention this, okay, because this is a really unique little unit. It's called the Fit 120. We make it both in an H and in an E, which would be heat recovery or energy recovery, right? Look at that, 8 3/4 inches tall. That was designed for high-end luxury condos. Go up in between the floors, okay? I recommend the E because no drain, all right? On those jobs, you're going to see them, they're going to be 30, 40, 50, 60 days. We've done. Mostly, where I've done a lot of these have been extended living, you know, what do they call that? I should know this, I'm getting close to using it.
Assisted living?
Yeah, assisted living. Actually, I'm looking for my parents, okay, but I quite honestly was in one and went, Carol, screw it, we're selling the house. I mean, they clean your place, you know, you got meals, you got, you know.
Entertainment.
Huh?
Entertainment, movie nights.
They got everything. I'm like going, it's one price. You know? I'm going, I'm kind of for that, you know. It doesn't get expensive until you need all the medical, you know. So anyway, controls, I digress. EDF1 and EDF1R, okay, that's basically a 20-40-60 switch, 20 on, 40 off, you know, that sort of thing. R tells you that it has the recirc capability, okay. The dehumidistat, all right, came over on the Mayflower. I don't like the looks of it, obviously. I try to hide those all the time, but it's very effective. It works good, okay. That's human hair, by the way. EcoTouch, okay, we've talked about that, you've seen it. What's cool about that is you can actually program your ventilation, okay, so let's think about this, all right. It's not a time, you know, I mean, we don't need to have our ventilation come on at 12:05 and go off at, you know, 8:01 or something, you know. It's daytime, nighttime, right? Kind of makes sense. You're home, you know, typically at night and you're not during the day, right? So what you could do is you could set this up, let's say, you know, everybody's gone during the day, right? It was at school or work and you hate the dog anyway, so just shut it off, right? Have it come on when you're home. If you love your dog, then, you know, have it come on 40 minutes out of every hour, you know? But see, you can do stuff like that, whereas before you couldn't. It was either on or off, all right? And you can even slow it down or speed it up according to what you want, okay? And we can do recirc, all right? We didn't talk about HEPA yet. We're going to talk about HEPA filters here pretty soon. And when we do, that's where this recirc and using these controls really come in handy. Okay? EDF7 has pretty much all the features, for the most part, of the EcoTouch, only it's non-programmable and it doesn't have a touch screen. But it's about half the cost. Done that twice. All right. RTS 2 and 5. All right. RTS 2 is a 20-minute timer, so that remember I talked about using this for bath exhaust. Okay. Well, you go in there. How are you going to turn it on? It's an HRV, right? And remember I said I sized it medium. So the unit's running in medium, but I go in there and take a shower. I steam the thing all up. Well, I want more, right? So you hit that RTS 2. It'll boost it up to high for 20 minutes and then revert back to wherever it was set. RTS 5 will give you the choice of going 20, 40, or 60 minutes of high speed. And then revert back. Okay? And yes, you can shut it off. If I go in there just to cook, you know, fix my hair, I don't need that thing to run for 20 minutes, right? I can go in there and shut it back off. Just hit it again and shut off. Okay? Nobody laughed about fixing my hair. Gotta work on that joke, man. Jeez. Okay. Filter boxes. This has become huge, all right, because a lot of people are doing supply air now instead of exhaust air. Well, they need to filter the air before they bring it in, right? Well, here we go. MERV 13 box. It's basically a box with a filter in it, a couple of colors, okay? HEPA filtration, awesome stuff. I have this in my own house, okay? I currently have just a standalone unit. I have a CM3000 that I'm not doing this. What I'm doing is, I'm actually, instead of pulling it out of there, I'm actually pulling it out of the house through a grill. And then I'm using my return air. I've taken the motor out of it to pull it, all right? I don't like using any more electricity than I have to, right? So it works pretty good. I've also got it set up so that if I ever get my HRV in, which has been sitting in my garage for 3 years, right, that I'm all ready to do that. This is how I would do it when I actually tie the HEPA into the HRV. Notice I said HRV. In Phoenix. I want the maximum sensible recovery I can get, right? We don't have moisture, I don't care about that. You guys are pretty similar, right?
Yeah.
You're pretty dry, right?
Yep. Dry inside, dry outside.
Okay, so we make this in 2 models. A DM, which means duct mount, so it's going to be like that. And the duct mounts come with a pressure switch in it. So it senses when the return air has got air flowing through it, and then it only brings itself on when that's happening, okay? This does not, but it's collar mount. It can be used standalone, like I did, all right? Or you can tie it into your return, or into an HO, okay? Commercials. I think I have this slide in the wrong place, but that's all right. One of the real advantages of our commercials is that you can flop the electrical panel, all right? Because if you've got a situation where, oh man, I need my cold side to be that way, but I need my electrical panel here and it's over there, you're in trouble, right? Here, now, you can just flop it over. And that's on all of our commercial HRVs. You can do that. That's what they look like. And here's some applications. I want to talk about indoor pools a little bit. I got another slide on it, but I'm going to just mention that would work great in your mountainous areas, okay, where you've got cold, dry air in the wintertime. Not so good in the desert, okay? If you've got an indoor pool in the desert and you're trying to keep the moisture off the windows, you have one choice, and that's refrigerated air, okay, like desert air, somebody like that, that's actually going to run a mechanical HVAC system and blow air on it, all right? What we're doing with this is we're recirculating cold air from outside, all right, onto those windows. It works awesome. We were just in Salt Lake last week, and we saw a couple of big homes. One was 15,000 square foot. I think the front door in that house was about the same price as my house. And then the other one was only like 6,000 square feet. But they both
Yeah,
had
it's tiny. I don't know how they can do that.
Well,